All right, Mom. It is Monday at the time of this recording.
Yes.
Which means that Brandon has officially moved out of the domicile. Your little baby bird has left the nest.
Okay, you're going to just... Okay. I've already been fighting back tears, and so we're just... Let's just let him know exactly what happened. Brandon did move. He's officially out.
That's just what I just said. It's literally what I said. That's how I started the podcast.
Well, he's like completely gone.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, he's not dead. He's in Arizona.
Yes, he moved. He came back and got his car in Pam this morning. It's just...
So nobody knew that, first of all.
Then just keep talking.
So Brandon has officially moved to Arizona with his girlfriend to pursue a career in the corrections employment. And so what he had done is we loaded up his U-Haul on Thursday.
Yes.
And he had driven out the U-Haul to Arizona on Friday and then came home Friday night, and then just at the time of the recording he left this morning, which is a Saturday. So he left Saturday morning with the cat and everything that he owns to Arizona to start his new life in Arizona with his girlfriend and his new job and things like that. So that is the reason behind your commentary.
Yes. 100%. And
yes. So Brandon is still very much here. He is very much healthy. He is very much still a part of the family. We did not exile him.
No. And I have nothing to add to that either. You did a really good job explaining the timelines.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. So Brandon is very much here and in constant communication with us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's just, you know what, and I've been building up to this, and truthfully, I know in my heart that this is a good thing. And I was doing my little outfit of the day, and where I need to concentrate is I need to be proud and happy for Brandon instead of, thinking about like how I feel about like, I don't want to be sad.
Sure.
So I'm just...
What's there to be sad about?
Well, that's just the whole thing. It's like, because I mean, to me, it's like, I have like my go-to emotions and I'm finding myself really easily going into like a woe is me kind of emotion. And I'm fighting that because it's like this is the first time since I've really been like really trying to rebuild my mental health that I have faced something like this, because usually it's really easy. It's like, I'm just going to be sad and pissed, but now I'm trying to pick the correct emotions and do this in a healthy way.
Sure.
So instead of saying I'm sad, I'm just going to concentrate because I'm sad, and here's the thing is I'm not sad. I'm just going to miss seeing him physically every single day. So instead of thinking about that aspect of this, I'm just going to concentrate on being proud of him for doing this.
He's like your little emotional support human.
Well, I mean, I would be just as sad when you move out, I'll be just as sad. I mean, the whole thing is, it's like, as a mom, I know that this is supposed to happen. I mean, this is just, as a parent, we raise our children to have this step. But where I'm becoming, I think, emotionally stunted, or where it's really tripping me up, is because it's like our journey hasn't been normal. You didn't have the right childhood. We didn't have the right communication, and we've done such a good job of building it that this is, again, just like building the new relationship and understanding each other. This is a new feeling for me.
Sure.
So you're just as much an emotional support human as he is. And so, like I said, when you move out, it will be equally as like challenging for me, but as equally as proud.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is, at the surface, I mean, 100% the first emotion is I'm proud of Brandon, and I think that this is a really good step for him. And then everything below that is a big jumble that I'm just trying to put into place.
That's fair. I mean, it just seems like you say, these are just emotions you haven't really had before, and you've also never been at this emotional maturity to express and understand your emotions. Yeah. And like you said, that your first emotion would be pissed or sad, and I think that's just your blanketed. That was your defense mechanism, because
Absolutely.
I do think you miss Brandon. And obviously, like like you say, Brandon's 5 hours away and things like that. So he's not like impossibly far, but he's not driving. You couldn't see him in a weekday kind of thing capacity.
Yeah. It just comes down to the fact it's like, because every time we'd go to San Francisco, he was, when he didn't live here, he was 2 minutes down the street, and now it's like, there's that severance of distance too. So, and so it kind of like hit me this morning when I was like, wow, San Francisco is now in question. There's a huge question mark.
I don't think so.
Well,
he would just have to fly out or drive out here.
That, you know what, but that's just the whole thing. It's like the reality is it's like how inconvenient is it for him to have to drive out here for us to go up to San Francisco to get a haircut?
Yeah, but for certain occasions, I'm sure he could do it, but not like hey, every month I need you to fly out here.
Yeah.
And I think also too, that you have to anticipate Brandon also feeling the same way too. Because think about Brandon. Brandon's moving to a state he's been to, he really hasn't been to. He went to visit Jen a couple of times. So he's only this will be like his third time being in Arizona, right? So he's in a new state, in a new career that he's nervous about. There's a lot of new things to him. So I'm sure any feeling you're feeling, I'm sure it's magnified to him because, you're in your safe spaces. Yeah. You're in your element. Brandon is completely outside of his element.
Exactly.
And Brandon does not like new things. And he is doing a lot of new things.
Like everything. He flew by himself for the first time.
He drove a U-Haul across state lines for the first time. He's moving with his girlfriend, which isn't new, but but he's doing it. And I think maybe also too, like he's doing it kind of like how you had mentioned that you're in a different state of mind. You're more mature and you're more mentally there and capable. And I think Brandon is in a very similar spot.
Right. So. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And truthfully, I feel like I'm kind of looking at where I am emotionally, kind of like my sobriety. It's like I've worked really hard to get where I am emotionally right now. I don't want to just, fall back. I don't want it to be where it's like, I'm just going to, okay, Brandon's gone. So Robert, I'm going to focus all my energy on you and cling to you.
We've already addressed this on our walk. We're the boundaries will be set. And like you say, like you and I are both in a capacity to establish those boundaries, right? So like, even though that Brandon's gone, you and Brandon did talk with each other a lot because Brandon was available. Yeah. I am a lot less available, but it doesn't mean that I wouldn't be like, I'm not unapproachable, but there definitely needs to be like an understanding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, like I'm in my room or when I'm working or things like that, like it's a no-go.
Oh, yeah. And so for me, it's like I was saying when we were walking Indy, it's really super important for me to acknowledge that, we have made really good strides in our communication. So for me, I'm very aware of this. And I'm like, Lonnie, you cannot just, because a part of me, again, where I would be really like going to like anger or sadness for my go-to emotion, to me, it's really super easy to be like, well, I'm feeling a little sad and vulnerable. So I'm going to make Robert...
you would validate your intrusiveness.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'd be like, I'm sure he would understand that I'm not giving him any personal space because he's going to know what I'm going through. So I've already stopped myself at the pass on that because I found myself like, I'm just going to go see what Robert's doing. And I'm like, no, that's not cool, Lonnie. You can't do that, So it's like I feel like all of these cylinders are firing off at one time, and I'm just trying to like be like, okay, that one goes here, this one goes here. Okay, emotion, you're over here. Kind of like
you just reconnected the wires.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really super important for you to know that I am aware of my actions, whereas before I always just kind of hid behind like. I think I hid behind a whole lot of like, gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that kind of mentality.
I think you used maybe in terms of, I don't want to say ignorance, but I think you used
I was trying to come up with the right word and I couldn't come up with it.
You're trying to use like your justification as almost a crutch.
Yeah.
As you're like, well, normally Robert wouldn't like this, but given the circumstances, I'm feeling this way. So this is like a get out of jail free card. And that's not the case. Yeah. And like you said, through counseling and therapy and establishing boundaries, like you acknowledge it and you've corrected what would start being a divide between you and I.
Exactly.
Especially because it's just you and I here. And Brandon isn't, Brandon for whatever capacity, he was kind of the middleman.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon and I would get lunch, you and Brandon would watch movies. So he definitely served a purpose in this house. And now that there's one less person, you and I will have a lot more interactions.
Yeah.
whether that be good, bad, or ugly,
Yeah. And the thing is that too, Robert, I mean, the way that I'm going into this, it's not like, okay, well, Robert and I need to reestablish a new relationship. I'm looking at it as like, Lonnie, your children are grown and you need to have independence. I mean, it is okay to let go. And that's where I think I've come up with the most emotional growth, like in this whole scenario. And even with you and I, it's like, this isn't a you and me problem. This is a me problem. And this is I need to grow from here. It's not like we need to grow from here. So I'm really focusing this new, again, even though this is an old living situation, it's new again. I'm really focusing it on new as into like my new boundaries with my new thoughts and my new this and my new that. Because it's super important. And I've never really associated like our communication and my growth with like sobriety, because I really fight for my sobriety. Well, I really need to fight for my mental health and my new spot. And I'm going to look at it that way.
I think you should.
Yeah.
And I think Brandon moving to Arizona is a nice, it'll be a nice transition for when I eventually move out, which I hope to be soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. And again, it's like, I will physically miss seeing you, but I know that in the long run, that is what is supposed to happen. So and truthfully, I'm already preparing myself for it. I try to do more things around the house by myself. Like for Indy, it's like, if you ever want to walk with us, you can walk with us. But I mean, it's like, she and I need to establish our routines. And yeah, I'm definitely prepping myself for, the near future when I'm solo.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be okay. And I don't think I really ever could have said that, in all honesty, like a year ago.
I would say so. You'd be like, well, I'm going to go move with you. And you used to make jokes, but like, oh yeah, I'll just move with you kind of thing. Like you were very codependent.
I was scared. I was scared to be alone. And I was scared to be alone the majority of my life. I used to tell Dante all the time that my biggest fear is being alone, and now that's no longer my biggest fear. I think my biggest fear right now is pushing you and Brandon away. So, I concentrate on being okay so that my real fear doesn't happen.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So and I'm excited for you, Robert. I mean, it's going to be the best step for you, and it needs to happen. And the last thing I want you to do is feel resentful because you have to be here, because it's like, my mother is incapable of living on her own.
If we're going to be operating in transparency, there's times where I'm like, well, fuck, I don't think I could move out because I don't think you were capable of being alone.
Do you still think that now?
No, I think you'd be all right now.
Yeah.
I think you'd be fine. I think you'd be better now. You'd be like, before you'd be like, I was like, oh, my mom's like, she would just go off the rockers. And so I was like, oh, if I move, I have to move close because I have to take care of her, kind of thing.
See, in all transparency, sometimes I think you used me as a crutch.
How so?
Because sometimes I think you made me more incapable than I really am.
Like in what way?
Maybe you weren't ready to move out, or maybe, financially you weren't ready, or
financially I'm unable.
Yeah. And then instead of, maybe it was easier to say, well, I can't move out because of my mom, instead of being like, I don't know. I always felt like sometimes you almost blamed me for not moving out.
I'm sure that I probably gave off that feeling, right? Because it's easier to blame others than yourself, right? It's easier to point your finger away. So I'm sure we both kind of felt our little animosity.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And whereas now I don't think there is any, because it's just like, as soon as you can, I highly suggest it.
Yeah.
Whether it's here or far, far away. It is what it is.
You won't know. I won't tell you. So wherever I move, it's going to be a secret.
Oh, that's not true. Yeah, because I was telling Brandon, and I didn't even really think about this until last night when we were driving home from the airport. But once he's like established and he's gone through the academy and he's in a routine, I want to jump on the plane and go out and see where he's living and go hang out with him. And just as much as I hope that he comes here to visit, I don't want to wear my welcome out over there either. But it would be fun to just be like, hey,
I'm sure maybe sometime next year.
I told him once he's done with the academy and he's settled in, and it's already almost September. So I'm thinking like maybe around Christmas time or something.
Yeah, because you got to think like Jen lives in Arizona, right? So Jen has her aunt and uncle there. I'm sure she has her friend group. Brandon has only Jen.
Yeah.
Right. And so he doesn't have, he's not going to be in a position where he's going to have extra people kind of like in his life. So I think he's really going to value having somebody comfortable and somebody he knows and loves come out and visit him.
Yeah. And you know what? And truthfully, I think just having like his mom come out there and check out and see his new life is, I think.
Because you've never been to any of his apartments. I mean, other than the one just recently.
No, I mean, I helped him find the one in the one down the street from Corner. I helped him find.
Did you see his apartment after he moved in?
I think when we dropped off Pam.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we went together to go get Pam. Yeah. I mean, I didn't visit him a whole lot, but I mean, I definitely was in his apartment more, the closer one here, just because whenever he would go see Jen, I would take care of Pam.
So again, but still recently.
Yeah. 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 But I mean, again, Brandon and I have a different relationship now also.
Very true.
And it's just, it just is what it is. And so, I'm even just talking about it and is helping me like put the right emotion in the right slot.
Good.
And I was fine this morning until I went to ring the bell because
I heard the bell ring at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, that was always like a papa thing.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just shipping him off to his next life. I'm like, ding, ding. I'm like, that's it.
Not his next life, but
his next journey. Yeah. It to me, I felt like, I don't, it's just hard, Robert. And I'm not saying it's hard.
It's a feeling as a mother, like watching your child.
Yeah.
Like,
but I watched him struggle for so long.
Yeah.
And just knowing that he's in a good spot is what chokes me up. That's what gets to me because I lived in fear that, he was like that his dark, his depression and everything would take over. And so it was like, I was thinking about it, like even like this time last year, he was not doing well.
Yeah.
And I mean, truthfully, it was hard. It's hard as a mom to be happy when your children are struggling.
Sure. Yeah. No, I totally understand. Because there were times where I was like, oh my gosh, are we going to get a phone call soon?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I don't think Brandon really didn't start healing until he moved back in. And I obviously I was the best thing for him, but I think I personally thought he should have moved back in sooner, but I don't think he would have been ready.
No, he would have moved back in
with resentment.
And I think that would have driven the wedge between us even more. And so I think because we had been seeing our counselor for at least 4 months, 5 months when he moved back.
Before he moved back.
Yeah, before he moved back.
Yeah.
So we were already on that journey of communication. So yeah, I mean, truthfully, sometimes I look back at things and I mean, everything happens in the time frame that it's supposed to. You just have to see the message behind it.
Yeah. So I mean, everything worked out, and like you say, like it is nice to see Brandon flourishing. It is nice to see Brandon trying new career paths. Him moving on with his life instead of feeling because I'm sure he would agree, but I'm sure he felt stuck. Stuck in life for, I would say years.
He and I would have conversations and it was just like, he knew that he wanted to move forward, but he never saw the path. And it was always, again, as a mom sitting there watching your children struggle, it's, only thing I could do is pray and I heard a saying one time and it's absolutely true, but it said, as a mom, you're only as happy as your saddest child.
Okay.
And so I'm very proud of actually both of you because I mean, you both have made really good strides, but it was just nice seeing Brandon doing more independently than he's done his entire life.
Yeah. Cause he was very, sheltered, I guess it would be the right word.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I'm happy for him.
Yeah. And then, and like I said, you're next and please don't stay one day longer than you think to because of me. Because again, that's just going to lead to resentment.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think once I'm financially capable and I understand that there's, I think I've watched a lot of podcasts and things like that. It's harder for content creators to secure like a actual conventional loan. But as soon as I'm financially able to support myself in a capacity to like live. For sure, 100%.
Now, would you just get like a little apartment, or are you thinking like I'm not going to?
I won't move out until I can financially afford a home.
Oh wow, okay.
Which hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. But yeah, because I don't want to. That seems like such a parallel step. It goes from like one to like the apartment's just such a temporary thing. I don't know. Maybe like a condo would be okay. Like something like that'd be fun, but who knows?
Yeah, because I mean, truthfully, I mean, to me, it really is going to depend on your mental health and like, you know, if you find yourself just being kind of like stuck here and you need to rent an apartment before you can afford a house, then that's the step.
I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just, you know, like I said, it just, to me, I just want to encourage you to, whatever makes you the happiest is what you need to do.
Got it.
You know, I'll go start packing your shit. Oops.
Great. No, Monica wants me to buy her a beach house. And so Monica's my moderator.
Yeah.
And she is under the assumption that I'm going to be financially successful enough to buy her a beach house. But I told her, I was like, bro, I don't know if I can buy 2 beach houses. She goes, it's fine. I'll just live with you. So we were talking yesterday that I would have like a little like granny flat in the back. And she would like, and I'd be like senile in my old age. And so I told her I'd be walking around with my Crocs and my robe, but my robe would always be open and just be mumbling to myself. And so she'd have to like talk to her party guests, like, oh yeah, don't mind him, just don't make eye contact.
He'd be shuffling along in the background.
Like, he'd be like, yo, is your house haunted? You're like, no, it's just Bert.
Now, is she younger than you?
Yeah, she just turned 25.
Oh, okay.
She turned 25 on June 27th. She's been a really cool person.
Yeah, I think she's a good friend.
Yeah, I really,
of yours.
really like her. She's fun.
Yeah.
So I apparently have to buy either one really large beach house or 2 smaller beach houses.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
one
day.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, if it's a beach house, you're not that far away.
No, I'll be about 45 minutes.
Yeah. So long as Ray's living across the street, I'll just have him help me with the light bulbs.
His birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, one day, I mean, like I said, I'm not really worried about it. I'm in such a, you know, that's what's kind of nice is like my room's like my whole world kind of thing. And so it's nice to kind of operate and not feel the burden of financial, like, you know, rent payments and things like that. And I can focus on my creativity without having the stressors.
Yeah.
So we're chilling.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
In some of the past podcasts, you've mentioned how, like, when you venture out to get like water or tea or something, I've kind of like ambushed you and been like, blah, blah, blah. Has that, do you still feel that way?
Well, Brandon just left.
No, I just meant in general. I mean,
there's some times where I'll be filling my water, you're like, and I can't hear, but I think it's just you just being excited about something and wanting to share it.
Yeah, because truthfully, when I see your earphones on, I mean, unless I have to like be like, hey, do you want Starbucks or something?
Yeah, unless it's like something pressing. But like sometimes I feel like you like before I would be like ambushed.
Yeah,
it'd be like an ambush conversation. So I'd be walking to like the kitchen. You'd be like, so you'll never guess who messaged me on TikTok. I'm like, what?
Oh no, I absolutely ambushed you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that's what happened. And so you know, like I said, I mean, Brandon just left, so I can't tell you like yes, no, or different. But if there's ever a capacity where I'm just not capable of giving you that information or that attention, I was like, hey, Mom, we're gonna have to another time.
Yeah, I know sometimes like I'll start to say something, I'll be like, he's wearing his headphones, and then I'll stop because it's like for some reason I just didn't see him or something. And then also too, it's like I'll just message you on WhatsApp if I, you know, sometimes. But yeah, no, I'm really trying to like just, you know, again, it'd be like there's kind of like you're the ghost, you know. You just shuffle around in the background.
That's all I want, you know, just to.
You're like a snow leopard. I know you're there. You just never see you.
Yeah, you know, because there's a lot going on, especially in the mornings. You know, the mornings are really busy because I don't really have a lot of leisure time. It goes as soon as I wake up, it's boom, 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 boom until about like noon. Yeah, and then noon's when I can kind of catch my breath. But even then, and there's always something to do.
Yeah, and you know what, and that's why I take Indy by myself. It's just like it's no. Again, I just don't want there to ever be any pressure. Yeah,
and so like I know, and there's times like when I'm making my breakfast and things like that, you'll talk to me, but as soon as I'm done making my breakfast, like okay, cool, and I'll just kind of venture or fade off into the distance.
And I always try to preference it with like, do you have a moment, or do you know, can I talk to you? And you're very honest. You're like, you have until my oatmeal comes out of the microwave.
Yeah, I got a minute 30.
Yeah, and then you know what, if it's something I need to say, I say it, and if I can't say it in a minute 30, then it doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, very true.
So you know, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited. You know, and truthfully, I'm just and I think a lot of where my energy is going to, Robert, is I used to. I mean, I don't know. And I can't, it's like, I was like super worried about Brandon and I clung on to you. Yeah. You know?
And I think you doubled down.
Because I was scared. I mean, it was like, so I was like, it was just a really scary time. It's kind of like falling. So I just feel more on my feet. And so, yeah, it's all going to be good.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're walking into this with the right mental attitude. seems like all your priorities are in the right spot, and it's not the same as when Brandon moved out the first time, right?
Oh gosh, no.
It felt, in a way, it felt just like, okay, well, we can't. I don't want to say handle Brandon, or we can't deal with Brandon, but I think Brandon needs to his space, kind of thing.
Well, Brandon was trying to get away from us.
Yeah, Brandon was trying to run away from us, whereas now Brandon's living his life and is venturing away with the right mindset and with the right positivity. So he left the house in a different, I think we're all just different people now.
Yeah.
So this time around, I think everything's gonna be great.
Yeah. Like I was saying last night when we were driving home, it's more of it's not a goodbye. It's a, I'll see you later.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, he's never, every other time he's moved out, it was just like, I have to get away from them, because it was just
smothering, or just, we just butted heads. We just didn't have the communication. So I totally understand.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just, for me, it's a growing experience. It's learning again, picking out the right emotions. And you have no idea how many times I've stopped myself from telling myself I'm sad, because I'm not sad. I'm proud.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you have nothing to be sad about.
Yeah. And it's just fighting that emotion. And what's really cool, it's like, once I can get through this in a manner that needs that in a healthy way, it's like, oh, cool, I can do the next thing in a healthy manner.
Absolutely.
And then I can do that in a healthy manner. And it helps, throughout my entire platform being more even keeled like that, instead of like, up, down.
Yeah.
So
I totally get you.
yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. We're going to celebrate with some Thai food today, and I'm super excited.
Yeah. We haven't had it in a couple of months because Brandon doesn't like the Thai food place there.
I know.
So we haven't had it because, it would be unfair to eat for two people and have Brandon watch.
Yeah. Or be like, hey, we're going to go get something we want. You could.
Have fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to celebrate with Thai food, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as always, I appreciate you, Robert. I appreciate everybody listening. It's such a cool, just open talk.
I agree.
All right. So if you can find Robert on all of his platforms as Shurebert, SUREBERT _.
Yeah. I'm one follower away from 600 followers on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. Wait.
Hold on.
I'm at 601. Never mind. Psych.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it. Yeah,
awesome.
I just made it.
I bet you're at over 1,000 at the end of the year.
I would like that. That's the goal.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then you can find me across the board as Gray Hair and Tattoos. And have a great week, everybody. Stay cool. Be safe. And we will be back next weekend.
Next week?
Yeah, next week. And until then, take care.
Yep.
Bye.